Well, hello, everyone. It's great to be back with you for another episode, a thrilling episode of Gear Up, right here on LinkedIn and YouTube Live. We're actually trying something different this week. We're doing this in a LinkedIn event. So we'll see how that goes, but also on YouTube. So if you're watching in either place, feel free to comment. I will see it. I will respond to it. I will love it. Even if you're really saucy, I will still love the fact that you engage. But welcome. Glad to see you all again. Thank you for allowing me to take some understandably needed time off. This has been such an insane time with everyone and everywhere trying to just get through, right? But we are getting through, and there will always be tools to dive into, which is why this show is fun. And why I hope you're having fun watching it right here on Gear Up, which is a show brought to you by Really Social and myself, Rachel Moore, your host. Just to preface again what this show is, it is a show about digital tools and useful stuff. Because we all like useful stuff, whether we realize it or not. If we didn't have the useful stuff, we'd be in dire straits. We'd be like, I need the useful thing back. So that's why it's really nice to have useful things. And a lot of those times it's digital stuff. Sometimes it's tangible stuff. I'm using digital and tangible stuff right now on this show to help make it happen. I've got this like microphone arm, which we'll talk about at some point in the show on a future episode. I've got an actual camera mount that I'm using to look you in the eyeballs through my camera. But then I'm using digital stuff too, like StreamYard, to bring you this show, YouTube, LinkedIn, all those things. But today we're going to be talking about a digital tool. And so here's how this show works. Every time we go live, we are talking about a specific tool. We dive into it. I show you how it works, what I think about it. And by the end of the show, after you've got a nice kind of like run through of what it all does and what the tool is and how it functions, I give you a rating. And our ratings are not stars because we have plenty of stars upon thars, ratings everywhere. We actually go by gears. Now, here's why we do that. Because every time you try to go somewhere on your phone or somewhere, usually the settings icon is a gear. It's kind of saying, here's how this works and here's where to tap or touch to change how it works for you. And so that's why the gear is a helpful gauge of how we rate stuff. So on a scale of 1 to 5 gears, I will rate every single tool we talk about right on this show. If you want to check out any prior episodes, you can totally check out my YouTube channel. It's Really Social Solutions. I don't know if you knew this, but YouTube does not let you change your channel name once you settle upon it. Kind of wish I could today, but there's a really easy way to get to my channel. It's bit.ly/howtosocialvideos, all lowercase. Very easy. It's scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now. So go check it out. Prior episodes are there. You can also, if you're on my LinkedIn, scroll through my feed and see some of the prior episodes, but it's way easier to just go check them out on my YouTube channel because that's where they are too. There's a playlist for Gear Up and you can check that out, share it around, comment there. And by the way, if you do have any suggestions for a tool you'd like us to cover on this show and rate and just kind of show you how it works, happy to take any of those. And again, remember, we'll do digital as well as tangible. So please feel free to bring any of that our way. So what are we talking about today? Today we are talking about this tool called Canva. Now, it's basically the word Canva without an S at the end. So you could think about it in context of a canvas where you're creating something on a canvas. It's very similar to that, but that is not what it's called. It's called Canva. I also like the fact that the first part of the word is can, like you can do this. And that's really the crux of where this tool comes in. In the description of this post and this broadcast, I talk about what do you do if you're not a graphic designer, but you want to come off like you are a graphic designer. There are so many visuals we have to do nowadays on pretty much anything you do online. You want to make it look good. And believe me, I've actually ranted about this on my LinkedIn feed before. I'm like, if you can't design, stop trying. You know, there is an eye you can develop. And the great thing about Canva is that it kind of is already preset to make sure that eye is already applied to whatever you might want to create. Now, that's not going to stop someone who doesn't have graphic design knowledge from making something ugly. Let's be clear. But it's really hard to make something ugly in Canva. So without further ado, as I am wont to say, let's go ahead and dive into Canva and take a look at this. So right now I'm sharing my screen. Now canva.com is a cloud-based solution. It is available online. You cannot get to it if you're not online. And I like sharing that because if you guys all remember the great outage of 2016 when AWS went down and half the internet went down, I was right in the middle of designing something on canva.com and lost all my progress, and also was not able to finish whatever I was working on, and thus it was kind of messy. So it is cloud-based. You need a Wi-Fi connection for this. But Canva is, it is design anything. You really can. So let's say that you come into Canva and you're like, okay, what do I do? I need to create a Facebook post. So you're going to type that in, Facebook post. Now notice it will give you a Facebook post, but it also gives you a bunch of other things too. And this is also very usually timely based on what's out there. So you've got summer Facebook post. We're in the middle of summer. Coronavirus Facebook post. Notice that as I hover over every single type of suggested post, it's giving me the dimensions. Why is that important? Because whenever you're creating something, whether it's going to be for digital or print, you should know the dimensions because it's going to be optimized based on where it's displaying. Dimensions are a big deal when you're making visuals for social media, for instance. Stories are vertical oriented, and I believe it's 1920 by 1080 pixels versus if you were to do it landscape, that's 1080 by 1920. So you want to know what size you're dealing with. I know for Reddit, for instance, when you do ads on Reddit, I believe it's like 300 by something. And so that's very different size than what we're hovering over right now. You want to know what you're going to plan to do. So let's say, you know what, coronavirus is in the air. Hopefully it's not actually. Don't ban me for saying that, but they're talking about it. But coronavirus is on the front of our minds right now. I'm going to click on the coronavirus Facebook post. So notice that it's already just jumped up here saying, well, here are some suggested things you could do for a coronavirus Facebook post. So again, this is a great tool for people who don't design, but also maybe you are a graphic designer. You're like, start me with something. I need an idea. So you can actually go in here and do that. So you can say, oh, I want to just kind of scroll down. Let's say that I like this work from home one, or ooh, feeling well, stop the spread, stay in bed. Let's do that. So I'm going to click on that. So now you're ushered into the design studio of this template. So it's giving you a template. Now you could just use it like that. Maybe you don't want to make any edits. But the beautiful part about Canva is you can now customize this based on what you want to do with it. Now it is a square orientation. You can actually go into the file and see it's not exactly square. But it will show up perfectly awesome on a Facebook post, 940 pixels by 788 pixels. And a pixel is a unit of measurement in digital terms. Okay, it's like an inch or a centimeter. It's pretty tiny, but it's basically just like one of those little tiny squares that you might see on your TV. So that's how you know that. But you can create any type of visual. So we selected a Facebook post, but maybe I don't want to do a Facebook post. Now I'm like, ooh, you know what? I need to do something different. So I'm going to go back to home. I'm going to say, I need something new. Let me try an Instagram story. Oh, look, an Instagram story. We've got to get to know me, snapshots, Juneteenth, illustrative. Let's just click on Instagram story. Notice as I hover over it, remember what I said about the size? Different than the Facebook post. And you can say, okay, I want an Instagram story. Now you have a slew of ideas there that you can use to say, I want to do this Instagram story. Let's click on the Great Summer Sale. Okay. So again, and every time you do this, now I can still go back to some prior tabs here to those Facebook posts, but it'll each new design you can do in a different tab, and you can work on them simultaneously if you like. But as you're in here, you can decide to adjust some things. So what it's done is that it's given you some styles and elements that you could use in this. Okay. So I've got the Great Summer Sale. That's great. Maybe though, where I live, we don't have a lot of these kind of palm looking or almost even pine needle kind of branches. Maybe I want to do something that's a little more fruit oriented because of summer, or maybe I want to do like picnic stuff. Okay. So what if I go in here and I've got templates. I actually want to go find some elements and say, I want to find something that has to do with picnic. Type in picnic. Now, you'll notice that you've got a slew of items that came up as options that you could plug into this graphic. Now, Canva.com is a freemium tool. There is a ton you can do with the free version. And I'm using the free version right now as I'm showing you this. But you could also pay for the premium. You could upgrade your account to be premium where all these little pro icons, all those would become available to you. But you also have the options of, and you can just see right there, it says get this image and millions more with Canva Pro. Or if you want to just use that specific image, you just pay $1 for it when you download this visual, and now you've got that image that you didn't maybe have before. I'm actually, let me see what we got here. So I'm going to scroll down, see if there's some other free ones. A lot of these are pro, I can see. You can actually go in here too. I believe you can say that you want to set it to where you're only seeing free ones. But let's go ahead and pick on this picnic basket. Now, if you notice, graphic design, I remember, that color scheme on that's not quite matching the whole green and dark blue that's part of this image, okay? So maybe I want to put this up here. And okay, well, it's not really matching all that. I can actually, if you'll notice, when I've got that icon selected, I can go over here. Look, those are all the colors that are being used in this. I can actually change the color of that basket to be green. And notice that this is one thing I love about this. It's so intuitive because it knows branding. It knows design and some of the essentials of design. It'll actually give you the document colors you're already working with. So there's the same green that's being used in those branches. I can also change maybe let's see, I'm going to click on that color. I'm going to change it to that dark blue. Look at my basket. Suddenly now it's kind of meshing with the rest of the design. And maybe I want to go ahead and change the circle to a white color. Oops, sorry, let me go back there. And I want to change that pink of the circle to white. Of course, my clouds are gone now. So maybe I can do, I could pick some kind of light blue maybe. And just pick like that. Get a little bit lighter, so it's a little bit more. Okay, that kind of matches. And look, the heart is the same thing. So notice I just made that element that I didn't create. I grabbed it from the free version and the free options, but I was able to adjust it to where now it matches and I'm on brand with the rest of the design. Also, let's look at the text. So you can do a ton with this too. So that's a great headline and stuff. I'm not really sold on it's kind of blah, it's a little bit like yell at you and stuff like that. So I can actually delete that stuff out. You can just click on it. You can either hit the trash icon or delete it. You can also, if you want, just be like, well, I'm just going to select all that text and maybe I just want to change the font. Tons of fonts in here. So you can just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Lots of fonts, and this is more than like Google open fonts because or open sans, because like you just have a ton you can do. So maybe I want to say, you know what, I want to change this to Poppins Light. I like that a little better. It's a little more my fave, but maybe I still need a headline or something. So now we're going to click over here on text, and so you can. This is great too because fonts in my opinion, can make or break a graphic. I just love fonts. They really do evoke emotion and certain feel and tone. So they're very important. And you want font agreement. What's great about this is it does give you a bunch of sample headlines and subtext that agree. So that there actually is something to it. So you can, let's see, if we want to look for kind of a picnicky, that's casual. It's a little too Comic Sans for me, so I'm not going to go there. Let's do, I kind of like that one. It's a little fun. So I'm going to click on it. When you click on it, it's actually going to pop it right into your graphic. And now you can change it to whatever you want to say. So I'm going to say picnic time. Notice that it's still in the box. It's going to cram in or resize the the spacing and stuff. But you can actually click and drag this to say, well, I actually want to make this on one line. I'll just make it like this. I don't necessarily, maybe I don't need that subtext because I've already got this one. So the other thing you can do this is a group. Notice that I've got this one selected and this one selected. These are two different elements. If I hit ungroup, now they're not tied to each other and I can go ahead and delete that one. Okay, so picnic time, and we're going to change this to say something, maybe just take out and put the date there. And now let's say that you're like, okay, well, I still need something below. I've got my element here. That's kind of nice. I got some naked space down here. I should put something there. So maybe you want to do something like you could do another photo or something. So let's find photos of picnics. Okay, so another picnic. All right. Ooh, some of these look really nice. That's a little picnic basket. Now, we already have a picnic basket, so I'm not going to pick that, but maybe we could do something like this check. Oop, and that's pro. Notice I did pick a pro one. So I'm going to put that down here, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So if we were to download this, we'd have to pay for $1 for it. Notice it's got a watermark on it for Canva. You could screenshot it. That watermark's still going to be there, and I certainly do not want to try to Photoshop that out. Here's what you can do though too, because right now it's overlaying my branches. Maybe I don't want that. You can actually change. Excuse me. Let me take that out. You can change the position of it. So I maybe want to push this backward, so it's underneath all of those branches. And now I've got kind of a cute little graphic. I don't think I'd roll with this one, but I'm showing you some of the things that are possible in here, okay? So that really is how you can do a very easy. So we talked about the textiles you can do, the elements and the assets. If you have your own items that you'd like to add to a graphic. So for instance, I have a ton of these because I actually do have some folders and some things that I've uploaded. And actually, let me go down here. I can get down here. There's apps and integrations. That's something else you can do too. Notice that you can actually tie some of the stuff directly into some of your social apps, which is really great. But you can say that, hey, I've got some things uploaded, so maybe I want to upload my own thing. Oh, there it is. It's at the top. Sorry, it used to be at the bottom. So what you're seeing, actually have used, and you can probably tell, do you recognize the gear? One of our prior guests was Mike Alton. I've actually got some things in here that I've used, and I create the graphic for this show out of Canva. I can use Photoshop, but I'm like, well, I can do this on the fly. It's easy, whatever. I'll just use it. But if I go down here, you're going to see I've got some logos, some PNGs and stuff. Something that I might want to upload in here too is say, well, this picnic is brought to you by Really Social. So I can go ahead and pop that in here. I can put it right here. Maybe I want to put it right here in the middle. Again, it won't erase the watermark, but I can say this is brought to you by Really Social. And now I've got my graphic. So you can upload your own pictures, elements, things like that you can add into the file. Okay, really cool. Now, another thing that's great. Sometimes you may not be designing by yourself. You might want to share and collaborate this with somebody else and say, hey, can you add some, maybe you had some text you need to add in, or you have an element you uploaded and need to add into this. You can actually share this design with others. So you could either type their name or email in it, and they'll get an alert that a Canva project's been shared with them. You can get a link and text it to them or whatever. So that is a really nice thing too. And canva.com, it's easy. You can sign up for free. You don't have to pay. I have paid premium, and it's really great, particularly if you decided you don't, Photoshop's too complicated and you want to use this. You can actually create teams within your account so that you have all that stuff in there. I want to point out one thing too, is that if I go back home, so my design is still here. I didn't lose it because it auto saves everything in the cloud. Notice there's my design I just worked on. I did click on that Facebook one. I could still work on that one. You can see some of the other things I've worked on too. But you also can make your own brand kit. So branding wise, anything I work on in Canva, my logos are available. And let's go back over to, let me actually go click on my all designs. Let me click on this one we didn't do anything with. If I want, I can click and make any of these on my brand, because my brand colors, look at that, Really Social brand colors are in there. So I could change that to where these are my brand colors and they match what my brand does versus this template that we got. So you can do quite a bit and really make some great edits and customize based on what your needs are. So a lot of things you can do with canva.com. Now, I have barely touched the ice, scraped the iceberg with this. I guess is that, gosh, I'm losing my good analogies or my metaphors here. That you actually can do things now too, where you create videos and add music and things to them in Canva too. I haven't even dabbled in that stuff yet. What I'm primarily looking at here is like, man, it's so easy to create something that's a still visual on just about anything. And one last thing I want to share with you guys. This is not just about social media. Look at this. Try book cover. If you wanted to create an infographic, You have that infographic resume. You could create resumes. You can create flyers. You can create note cards. My daughter actually 1 year created our Christmas card in Canva. So you have a ton of options in here. Please don't ever feel restricted by, that, oh, I have to do something with social media. Because look, you can do all this. So it's like a social media. It's got events. You can do invitations, brochures, posters, anything like that. As long as you know what the dimensions are that you need to do, you can create anything: documents, prints, video, school, personal. Go have fun. Go check it out. Canva.com. Really awesome. So with that, I am now going to crack my knuckles, proverbially, and I'm going to say what I think the rating of this tool is. I'm trying to look back to times before Canva.com came out, when really you had Microsoft Edit, you had Word Art, Microsoft Paint. And I'm sure some of those tools have caught up a bit, but I mean, things in PowerPoint. How many times have all of us used PowerPoint to create a visual? And, you are using stuff that's in Microsoft tools. And yes, you can add things and, add images, things like that. But and you do get some templates in there. But in my opinion, Canva really made a new tool that is so easy and intuitive for just about anyone to use. And you don't have to know graphic design. It does help you with spacing and stuff like that. You can see, and even just by seeing the templates in there, you see examples of good design, good spacing, good font usage, good color agreement, good element use. So you can see all of that demonstrated for you, and then you can create your own. So I am led to give Canva.com 5 full gears. It's great. I honestly think the free version is better than the paid version. So I would honestly go with the free version if you need to. If you want to pay for Canva.com and not use anything else, great. It's probably going to be worth your investment. I get a ton out of the free version. The only time I run into a hiccup is when I am maybe wanting to use an element and I would have to pay for it. And I'm such a cheapskate. I'm like, I don't want to pay for it. But guess what? You can just go hop over to pixabay.com, which we can talk about on another future show. And there's a ton of free stock images and items on there too that you don't have to pay for. It's good to donate to whoever uploaded it. Usually it's just like donate like $1 on PayPal. Would be the same amount you pay on Canva, just pointing it out. And just a reminder, on Canva, when you use it, every time you download it, that's one instance of paying the $1. You'd have to pay another $1 to use that same element. Okay. So Canva.com, you got 5 gears. Congrats. If you have any questions about how to use Canva, excuse me, I'm not the only one that uses it that I know. I know a ton of people use it. A lot of people stand by it. A lot of people have Photoshop and they choose to use Canva instead. I like having the choice between the two. But if you can't afford it, Canva is a great option and can do a lot with it too. So with that, next week on Gear Up, I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. So if you have a suggestion, I'm happy to hear it. I do plan on getting some more tangible tools on here. I wish I had my water with me right now because I really want to take a drink, but it's very dry today. But if you have a suggestion for a tool, tangible or digital, you'd like me to review on this show or just dive into, so now you know more about it and how to use it, I am happy to do that. Leave something in the comments and I would love to check that out for you. You can also visit my website, really.social/gearup. Our page for Gear Up is right there. You can give me any recommendations or thoughts, or if you need to send me a tool to try, I'm happy to test it out for you as well. And just a quick reminder, Gear Up is Thursdays right around 7 p.m. Eastern, a little after, right here on LinkedIn and YouTube live. So things happen and it's all for real. And I am again your host, Rachel Moore. Happy to be here with you today. And I'll be with you next Thursday right here on Gear Up. And I hope you have a fabulous day. Go get creative with Canva.com. I would love to see what you come up with. Have a ball. Bye, everyone.